So with our Avenza application open, let's go over just this main interface here. So if we just start here up in this corner, there's a bell. That bell is where our notifications will be listed if we have some downloads complete, or if there's any updates or anything like that, they'll appear in that notification slot. If we go over, there is a little person, and that person is to a spot where we can create our login or sign up for Avenza. You don't need to necessarily do this when you're using like the free version, but once you start implementing subscriptions and you want to keep some of the work that you've been doing within your profile, you should be setting up an account once you start using this a little bit more rigorously. We can go back there, and then if we work our way down, we've got tabs along the bottom, and these are just our main tabs that we can move through to use the app here. So the first tab is My Maps. It normally has a list of all of the maps here. In this section, we don't have any maps because we've just loaded up the application, but there is this option here, Open Base Map. So what a base map is, it's an OSM map, so an open source map similar to what Google Maps uses. It has lots of detail like contour lines. There is the ability to, if you have a pro version or the premium version, you can as well see the aerial view, so like that aerial imagery and mapping, or the aerial imagery of the map and contour lines. So that's super helpful when you're using that Plus and Premium version. The next tab we've got here is the Layers tab. Again, there should be a bunch of layers here eventually stored as we build out our mapping. And you'll be able to find all of the layers in this location here. The next tab after that is the store, so the Avenza store. So we're just going to allow Avenza Maps to use our location while we are using the app. That'll help us and be required for some of the mapping features. But the App Store here is just a place where we can purchase and download maps, that are free or some that are charged within the Avenza kind of ecosystem. So this is their platform of a way in order to purchase and bring on maps into the app. But we'll talk about that later as well. The next tab is the Settings tab. Everything in the Settings tab here is just for not for specific to a map, but for the entire app itself. So you can see a spot up here for upgrading accounts or restoring old subscriptions. Actually, we can scroll all the way up here, and we're missing a couple things. So we've got a help option here, our account information. Then we've got some general settings. So in the general settings box here, we'll just go into that for a second. All the default settings in here should be fine for our basic use of the application, except the download settings. So you can change this. Depends if your iPad has cellular data or not. This is only allowing us to download things over Wi-Fi only. So we can change that restriction to Wi-Fi and cellular if that's an option on our iPad. But that's, in this section here, that's an important one to review. So let's go back into the display category here. So display allows us to modify a couple features. Navigation line colors, our crosshair that we're going to be using, different line styles. We can find that here in the display settings, but everything that is default will work for our uses right now. Next is units of measurement. So if we want to change any units specifically, we can change them all at once, or we can just change them custom, depending on who we're working with and what kind of measurements that we want to be using and units of measure. On the bottom here, you can see a section for coordinates, and this one can be important. So we can pick the different type of coordinates that we want. So if we're using WGS 84 standard, if we're going to use eastings and northings, UTM style. It just really depends on the format in which, do we want degrees, minutes, seconds. So we can just stick with the stock standard that's been selected already. But if you do need to make those changes or modifications, then we will just use that. You can use that section to find and make those changes. Next here is map view. So map view has a couple settings that we should think about changing. Keep screen on. It does use a lot of battery power if your screen is kept on and you're not using the device, but also can be a bit of a pain if you're trying to view a map and your screen keeps shutting off. So this is an option that we can toggle on. If you're not using the screen and or using the application, your iPad can be set to timeout, and that can prompt you to have to turn the screen back on. That could be a pain in the butt. So to resolve that, you can just turn that on. There is the application does use Google Maps in some of the features, so we can actually transfer between the two programs from the location that we've selected. It's a neat feature, but we'll just keep that turned on. Place mark size. So place marks are data points that are on the map. Sometimes once our map gets kind of cluttered, we might want to review that's the size that we're using. We can shrink them down, make them smaller so we can fit more on and they don't clutter up some of the map that's behind the points that we're placing on the map. The scale bar, that gives us kind of a reference. We can go back into that. It is not always shown. It's just shown when we move the map, just after we move the map for a couple seconds, and then it disappears on us. Again, we can keep using those default settings. If we scroll down further, there's a couple more settings in here that you guys can customize as you get more and more comfortable with the program, but nothing critical to our initial use of the program. Managing symbol sets is where we keep all the symbols that we're allowed to place onto the map. So you can see here we've got 3 categories. With a free version, we can't import special symbol sets. So those of you that are using Pro and Premium version, this is a place that we can import those brand new symbol sets. So if we just go to this plus sign here, and we can try to import them and update them or upgrade them. There is some specific structure protection and structure defense symbol sets that we do use, and there is some all hazard symbol sets that give us things that are just a little bit more applicable to our line of work, whereas this program in the free version role for the public is made more for recreation. If we click on each symbol set, we can see the type of symbol that they have in each symbol set. Classic symbols, they're just pins and they're colored differently. The recreational symbol set here, it's got different symbols, boat launches, stuff like that. It'll have things like first aid tents and washrooms and parking points. We can use those too if we think we might, if they might be useful, like the parking symbol. Maybe we can use that to delineate something like staging. But this is where we would import and manage those symbol sets. The GPS and navigation settings, we won't even go into those. The default settings for those are fine. It just changes a little bit of sensitivity, and we're not really going to be talking about the navigation feature so much in this course. Last is notifications. So we just want to make sure that notifications are turned on. So that we can see if an applicate or if a download that we're having or an upload that's going on fails on us, so that we can action that and push that through again, especially if we're relying on downloading symbol sets or maps in an area that we have service and we're transferring to an area with no service. We just want to make sure that we don't assume that we've downloaded something when it actually has gotten an error and hasn't. So that's the main page here and the main interface for the app.